I've been thinking about our last conversation, and things are getting clearer now. This non-stop race of life wasn't natural, someone designed it. The so-called rich and successful didn't become powerful by talent alone. They controlled the economy by creating fake scarcity, playing with supply, giving people false hope, spreading fear when needed, and trapping the weaker ones through emotional tricks. But one thing is still unanswered. Who started this whole scam? And when did this big game of exploitation actually begin?
Lakshya, we need to change the question itself. It's not who that steered human evolution, because no single person ever did. The real driver was what? A series of forces, accidents, and unexpected upgrades that shaped the human journey.
So, evolution is the real puppeteer? Lovely. A blind process running humanity like a software update nobody asked for.
Recall our last discussion, the first major shift, the cognitive revolution. When humans mastered fire, everything changed. Fire kept predators away and made food digestible. Cooking saved enormous metabolic energy, allowing the brain to grow and the prefrontal cortex to emerge, the seat of imagination, logic, planning. As soon as humans learned to form groups, coordinate hunts, and wield weapons, the game tilted. Weapons gave our species an outrageous edge, letting the weakest mammal outrun, outthink, and outkill every predator. That's how humans rose to the top of the food chain, uncontested. But notice the irony. The same upgrade that empowered us, fire-driven brain expansion, later became the very trap we fell into.
Fire sharpened the brain and shrank the gut, and now both keep demanding fuel. The perfect upgrade for climbing the food chain and leaving every predator behind. It should have made humans feel invincible and untouchable.
That victory over predators was short-lived. Nature always has its own way of correcting imbalance. And the real turning point, the trap that reshaped human destiny, was the farming revolution. Hunter-gatherers once roamed freely, living only for the day, hunt if possible, move if not. Uncertain, yes, but free. Then came the domestication of crops and animals. Humans settled near rivers, built huts, stored grain, and created permanent homes. On paper, it looked like progress. More food, more shelter, more stability.
Progress? That's generous. Sounds more like humans traded the open sky for a permanent job, with no holidays, no resignations, and the world's first unpaid overtime.
But in truth, that's where the wheel of endless running began. The moment humans stopped wandering and started owning, they also started worrying, competing, hoarding, and chasing. That was the seed, when living slowly morphed into never-ending pursuit. Nature responded in its own balancing act. Humans became predators to themselves, through battles, crime, and violence. And as settlements grew into dense clusters, plagues and epidemics arrived like nature's audit, wiping out the very populations that thought they had mastered the world.
Okay, let me see if I've got this straight. Once humans stopped fearing lions and tigers, they immediately upgraded to a new predator, their own imagination. Physical threats vanished, so they manufactured mental ones, all set in the future. Brilliant species, when nothing is chasing them, they start chasing shadows.
Lakshya, you're exactly right. Fear never lives in the past or present, it survives only in the future. And to balance that future-made fear, humans invented its psychological opposite, hope. Hope became the bait. Fear became the leash. Together they powered every system of control humans ever created. To deal with imagined disasters, crop failures, storms, plagues, humans needed a stronger imaginary entity to negotiate with. So the first supernatural insurance policy was born. Ironically, the permanent shelters humans built for safety also became the places where they felt most vulnerable. And the earliest god they created to soothe that vulnerability was the god of rain, because without rain, every crop and every hope collapsed.
So basically, the moment humans stopped running from wild animals, they started running for their own weather forecast. First, they feared the rain, then they worshipped the rain. And eventually they bribed the rain with coconuts. Wonderful. From apex predator to anxious farmer in one evolutionary update.
Lakshya, you have to look through the architecture of this trap. Fear is the operating system. Without it, no form of control can even boot up. Once fear entered the human mind, social hierarchies quietly followed. Not through strength, but through the threat of punishment from an imaginary divine authority placed conveniently in the future. A perfect trick, invisible judge, delayed verdict, lifelong obedience.
So humanity basically signed a lifetime service agreement with a cosmic customer care department that never picks up the call, but still threatens late fees.
And wherever control appears, corruption grows by default. Corruption by default begets exploitation of power, and the very nature of power is to get more power, because power never protects the weak, it only protects itself. So those who held control didn't just enjoy it, they retained it. They built traditions, rituals, and laws to preserve their privileges, and then passed these privileges down to their next generations. That's how fear became culture, and control became inheritance.
Now, all this talk of fear and control is fine. But how did it actually solidify into those classic human hierarchies? You know, farmers at the bottom, traders scheming in the middle, soldiers flexing muscles, leaders pretending to be chosen ones, and priests whispering divine gossip into everyone's ears? Who designed that staircase of inequality?
Lakshya, the staircase wasn't designed by a mastermind. It emerged from two quiet forces inside every human, the desire for comfort and the greed for more. From these two seeds, hierarchies sprouted naturally, layer by layer, role by role. Before this shift, humans lived in small, tight-knit bands where nothing was hidden and secrets had no soil to grow in. But as settlements expanded and crowds gathered, cooperation on a much larger scale became essential. And that is where humanity's greatest strength and greatest vulnerability entered the picture: imaginary storytelling, myths, legends, invisible watchers, stories that united thousands who had never met, but also became tools of fear and control, punishments from unseen gods, sins recorded in cosmic accounts, heaven and hell marketed as reward and penalty.
So basically, the moment humans built bigger homes, they also built bigger ghosts to scare themselves with. Real estate went up, and so did imaginary rent.
With stories as glue, with fear as fuel, society slowly formed its neatly stacked pyramid. But the full anatomy of that pyramid, and how each class rose, ruled, manipulated, or deceived, is a deeper revelation. And we'll unfold it in the next episode.